I'm John Batchelor. This is the John Batchelor Show. Mary Kissel, my colleague and co-host, and she, tonight, has brought along one of her colleagues at the Wall Street Journal editorial board. We have welcomed Cori O'Connor before, but tonight she's here to help us understand a recent publication, a recent essay in the Wall Street Journal that lost me. Actually, it hooked me right away. It hooked me right away when I saw Tom Perez's name, because Mary has educated me that Tom Perez, the Secretary of Labor, is a very ambitious man in the Obama administration, has been ambitious for a long time.
Oh, yes, fair, that's Mary? Right. And, you know, to say ambitious, I think that's kind, John. He will go to gray areas of the law to achieve greater political power. Maybe that's the way I would put it.
I welcome you, Cori, and please explain what the ambitious Secretary of Labor is intending for financial advisors, those rascals who have led America astray these last years.
Thank you for having me, John. So this is been nicknamed the Fiduciary Rule, because what he's requiring of advisors is that they have a fiduciary status, which means that they act in the best interest of their client. I mean, and the funny thing with this is you'd assume that people are already, and hopefully ethical people are already doing this. I mean, they may advise accounts that are a little bit more expensive for the consumer, but you're hoping that this is the correct, they're giving them correct advisement. But what this actually does is it takes, I mean, the administration is claiming that these advisors are certainly ill-advising the clients and always having them pay the highest price and advising them towards the most expensive expensive accounts, which is crazy. But it's saying that because of this tragedy and this atrocity, nobody who's a small account investor can invest at all or can have advice at all in investing. And so this really cripples the middle class, is what it does.
So, Cori, as I understand it, there are two kinds of accounts. There's one where you go to an advisor and you say, I want to pay you a fee, and you have to be a fiduciary to me today. That's how it works today. And so he charges me quite a high fee because he has to act in my best interest, legally speaking.
Yes.
But then there's this brokerage model where they get paid by the mutual funds that they're selling.
A commission-based model.
A commission-based model. So is that the model that is going to go away?
Yes, exactly.
Under this rule,
that's exactly what it is.
Everybody's going to have to pay that higher fee.
Yes, and typically the fee-based model is typically used with much larger accounts. So I mean, this will affect people with accounts that have less than 25,000 or less, because those are the people who typically use this commission-based model. And so it's kind of like the companies like Primerica. You know, you'll call somebody on the phone and say, how do you advise that I roll over my 401k into an IRA account? And they would give you basic advice. This is preventing that. They want you to eventually go to robo advice and go to these machines.
Robo advice. Wait, you mean like a robot?
Exactly, Mary. A machine that will tell you where to put your money.
Oh, geez, John.
Ideology debate here. I learned from our colleague Richard Epstein at the Hoover Institution that there are two large camps now in contest during the Obama years. One is the progressive camp, and Mary, is it fair to say that Tom Perez is a captain of the progressive camp?
Yes,
absolutely.
Progressive camp, which regards competition as a danger zone and fraught with fraud and misrepresentation and monopoly powers. All
absolutely.
Right? Exploitation is the word. In the other camp, this would be Richard Epstein and 3 or 4 other people in America, classical liberals, sometimes known as libertarians, but Richard insists on the older term. Classical liberals regard the marketplace as the best way to solve competition, that in the marketplace everyone can find their own poison, and if you are being misled, you will quickly learn, because the competition will teach you that you should move your money to their account. This is the progressive school right now. And is the progressive school going to win this argument? Where does it go? Can Tom Perez just say the progressive school wins, we're now going to change everybody's advice in America?
He thinks he can say that. And if this goes through, that's what he will be saying. And I think the important thing to distinguish with the progressive camp is that they believe in expert knowledge to the extent that, you know, a person who's investing their money, their immediate inclinations or what they would think to do, most people would know the interest of whoever is advising them. They'd know that this person's getting paid by commission, and they would take that into account when they're advised. But the progressive camp understands expert knowledge to be the only good knowledge, the only way to fully understand what's going on. And so they see themselves as the experts helping these poor little citizens who don't know much about what they're doing.
Cori, has Tom Perez demonstrated that there is widespread fraud in America?
He has not, Mary, and this is a very, very significant part. He hasn't been able to demonstrate that at all. And in fact, it seems that it's going to be a lot more expensive for Americans to know what to do with their money now after this. Like we said, the fee-based model, it's going to cost Americans a lot more money. And so he claims he's saving them money, but we don't know where he's getting these numbers from. He had a study conducted, but even that's questionable.
The puzzlement here is there's 17 months to go, as the editorial in the Wall Street Journal indicates right away, and this strange idea that we need advice from people who are experts. Does this feel like they're preparing the grounds for something else? The president, a year and a half ago said, I have a phone and a pen. Are we building up for something? Remember the president made a joke about the bucket list?
Well, I don't know. Maybe Cori has a different view, but I just see this as the president putting his views into the concrete of the bureaucracy. And once you get these regulations in place and you have bureaucrats who are there to implement these regulations, it's very hard to dislodge them. Even if you had a very conservative president, you're talking about thousands and thousands of people throughout the bureaucracy, not just with the Fiduciary Rule, but with the EPA, with the CFPB, and with others.
Yes, absolutely. And I think this is about his legacy. We've heard this term a lot lately, people explaining that Obama is trying to, he's aware that his time's winding down and he wants to make a name for himself and, like you said, put his name in concretely in history. And so that's what he's doing. He's building, the bureaucracy, building up the experts.
The army of experts.
Exactly.
Is Congress listening? I mean, I know they're on vacation and they're a little deaf anyway, but I mean, are they aware that this is going on? Can they intervene in some fashion and say, wait a minute, why do we need this?
I mean, well, that's the thing with regulations, is these are not elected officials who are determining this.
I forget that. This is the command economy part of the government.
In Australia, that would be called the faceless men, John.
Cori O'Connor of the Wall Street Journal editorial board reporting on something you didn't know was happening, but there it is. Thomas Perez, the Secretary of Labor, costing you money soon enough for your 401ks and all of your other savings. Mary Kissel, the editorial board of the Wall Street Journal, the host of Opinion Journal, each day at 1:30 p.m. at WSJ Video, and I am John Batchelor.